everyone, what's happening? Welcome. Today is Thursday. It's August 11th, 2022. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Stacy. Who else is out there? Make sure you say hello in the chat. And I hope you're having a good morning this far. I woke up to a deer in the backyard who was not at all concerned about me. Got to go out on the porch and just kind of took a couple pictures, put one up on my personal Instagram, and just said hello. And eventually it wandered away. And it was just kind of nice. It's a good sized deer. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Dennis. Oh, hope everybody's well. How was your Wednesday? I had a pretty cool Wednesday. The end of my day yesterday, whew, good morning, John, was something happened, and I'm glad it finally got to happen. I got to meet Josh Blum, the guy who wrote our theme song. I've been on his show. He's been on Martial Arts Radio. We've been friends for years. And I finally got to shake his hand, give him a hug. That was pretty great. He was kind enough to make the trek out from the campsite he had with his family, brought his family. They picked up some food, and we ate at one of the parks around here. And so I got to meet his family, and they're all wonderful people, and it was really nice. Jenny says she woke to find that they finally got some rain, far from what we need, but hopefully we'll feel some relief from the humidity. Yeah, it was below 60 last night. Oh, the best sleeping weather. I love low 80s during the day and then upper 50s at night. That is perfect weather to me because it cools off enough. We get some condensation, which is, of course, good for the ground, for the plants. And I think we've got some more rain in the forecast. We will have to see. And Stacy says, yeah, for the Josh Blum Vermont tour, because she got to meet him the other day. I was admittedly a little jealous, Stacy, that you got to meet him first. But it's okay. Took another step with the logos for free training days. And as soon as those are done, which the designer said might be as soon as today, could be tomorrow. That's either is okay. We will not be long for getting the shirts and the other things that we are pent up on for those logos. So I'm pumped, super pumped. Jenny says, jealous. I live closer to him than both of you guys. And you guys met him first. Well, I did mention to Josh that we seem to have a growing group of folks in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and maybe it's time for an event. Maybe it's time for a free training day next year down that way. Somebody will have to spearhead it. I can't. We'll see what happens. So yesterday, of course, that was the highlight. I took care of the books. Had a meeting with a client and met client's new employee and was very excited. Have you ever had the opportunity, new coworker comes on and you're nervous and then you meet them and you're like, oh, I think this is going to work out? That's kind of where I'm at for my client. I was nervous, but I think this person is really going to work out. Her personality seems to be what this organization needs. So I'm hopeful. I went to Costco after that, which was a terrible mistake. I'm pretty sure that yesterday was a field trip for a memory clinic at Costco because I saw some things I have not seen before at Costco. And I shouldn't say haven't seen them. They were worse. The amount of I'm going to leave my car in an inconvenient place and walk over there was much greater. The number of people who stepped in front of my cart, the number of people who were shopping with a friend and they were driving too wide with their carts, kind of like road bikers that ride too wide and take up the whole road. They were doing that. There was a bunch of it. It was not enjoyable, but had to be done. I needed to buy a bunch of food, and there's no better place to buy a bunch of food than Costco. All right. Jenny says, yes, free training day Mid-Atlantic, all Spearhead. All right, you heard it, everyone. Oh, and Jenny, once you experience it, I think even if I hadn't brought it up, you would have wanted to anyway. There's something special about free training day. I'm really proud of it. We're going to keep doing it. Good morning, Liz. Good morning, Brian. Brian says, oops, slept in a little. Oops, I blame a good Taekwondo class. That's great. Glad to hear you're still going. And classes are good. Happy for you, man. Good. Monday, I sent an email to the place that I was like, hey, can I teach martial arts at your yoga studio as a follow-up? Still haven't heard back. So it's kind of bumming me out. Like, this has been the pattern. Like, all these non-starts. I'm running out of ideas. I don't want to have to rent a space, like rent my own space. But if I have to do that, I will. It just means that I'm going to have to work really hard to get students enrolled so I don't lose money for 6 months. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know. And Jenny says that she will accept Brian's excuse of sleeping in because of training. Now, today is Thursday. Thursday means another episode of Martial Arts Radio. We've got a video episode for you today. And today's episode, let's see, what's the easiest way for me to find this? Oh, come on. Maybe. Oh, it is already on YouTube. I know it is. Training while severely injured, episode 735. We've all had the experience like, oh, my foot hurts a little bit. Oh, I'm a little sore. And you still go to class. What about when you break your leg? What about when you're on crutches? What about when you have mono? Something where you're not going to class. What do you do? How do you maintain as many of your skills as you can while you're dealing with that? It could be weeks or months. Andrew and I talk about that in today's episode. So you can check that out. It's on YouTube. It's in your podcast feed. And if you have feedback, if we missed something, I want to hear it. Coffee is so good. What else am I doing today? I've got a bunch of meetings. I have some meetings with some people I've never met with before. What else? Yep. Making up from some meetings from earlier, potential client, potential team member. Looks like Mark's doing a Parents' Day. Facebook decided to put that on my calendar. I won't be there, but happy for him in doing that. And then I've got a bunch of other things going on, so that's cool. First meeting's not until 11. Perfect. What are you doing today? How was your yesterday? Tell me about your yesterday. Tell me about your today. What did you love about yesterday? What are you looking forward to about today? I like to dwell on the positive. Let's stay stuck to the positive. Talking about today's episode of Martial Arts Radio, Brian says, when I fractured my fifth metatarsal in class, it derailed me for years. Losing that momentum can be tough, which is part of why figuring out how you're going to train in the meantime is pretty important. Jenny says, when I broke my ankle, I improved my blocks and hand techniques. Plus, my sparring leg, my left leg, got stronger from using crutches and hopping around all the time. Cool. So Liz and Brian and I all used to train at the same Taekwondo school. And Liz is saying, I remember when you did that. That was a crazy one. And Brian says, Liz helped me get home, had to drive my manual car. Oof. Oof. She grinding the gears a little bit, Brian? So that's that. That's yesterday. That's today. Martial Arts Radio. Now tomorrow's Friday. I'm hoping you'll all come up with some jokes. I did get a great email and a message. I'm going to read it to you because I'm excited, and I think you all will be too. Frank's been on leave since it's been a few weeks now, right? This is the third week. And he wrote me yesterday and said, change of plans. I shall return Monday, the 15th of August. I'm tired of piddly diddling around the house. So I'm excited for him to come back. This is our last Friday without him coming up with jokes. So hopefully you can come up with some good ones. And I want to share, Josh and I took a picture. I wanted to share that with you. I thought it came out pretty good. Great sunset behind us. Good dude. Like that guy. I just got distracted. I showed you those things. So we've been coming up with some topics this week. Talked about some self-defense stuff, some solo training, some partner work. Let's talk about group training. For those of you who have led a class and had the opportunity to, or maybe the responsibility is how you say it, to determine what people were doing, what's one of your favorite drills to have people do? Could be something that helps them work on a specific element of their training or a specific technique. Most of you know all of my favorite things come from training slowly. But those aren't the only things that I enjoy. In addition to slow training, I enjoy really safe training, hyper safe training, because I notice that people are completely different when they feel safe. Which is why I love a lot of drills, but I don't like them so much when they are when they're super constrained. I think the combination of safe and or slow with freeform is really where the best development happens for us as martial artists, like shadowboxing. Have you ever seen someone shadowbox and they pause and they're like, I don't know what to do? If you can't figure out what to do, standing there with no restrictions, with no opponents threatening you, with no consequences to your actions or, quote, getting it wrong, you're probably going to have a really hard time in any of those circumstances. I think most schools would benefit by doing more shadowboxing or shadow sparring or shadow fighting, whatever you want to call it. The idea that you're flowing and using all of your techniques in a solo way, but around other people, because that changes things. Once people are nervous that there's judgment going on, or they're observing others when they shouldn't be, but they still are, and they're like, oh, that technique. When you're a low to middle rank student, it's an absolutely brilliant drill that never stops being effective. Whatever you're working on, you can work on in a shadow environment. Brian says Liz did great driving his car, and she says my first car was his stick shift. Thank you. And if you knew Liz, it's even a little funnier. And everybody loves the picture. Stacy, remind me, I'll send it to you later. So I want to hear from all of you in a group setting. If you have or had the opportunity, what would you have everybody do? What's one of your favorite drills that you would have people do? I had the opportunity. Um, it was funny. I wasn't even tagged in this, and so it made me feel pretty special. I was going through Facebook yesterday and saw a flyer for an event hosted by a past guest and CJ Mayo, who's been on the show, lives in the Pacific Northwest, and it's an event that he is hosting that I will be teaching at next Saturday. What's that? The 20th. I fly out the 18th. And I fly out. I will be on a plane in a week. And I'm looking at the flyer. I'm like, oh, cool. I think this is the event I'm teaching at. And halfway down the flyer, it says special guest instructor Jeremy Lesniak. And I was like, oh, CJ. I am so honored to be going out to that group for a couple reasons. Well, really for one main reason. It is because of Gabe and Jenny and my relationship to them, their respect for what I do, and CJ getting to experience a little bit of that coming on martial arts radio, that they were all willing to stick their neck out and say, here you go, you can teach at this spot. And I'm super excited. And hopefully that allows me to meet more people and we can bring more people in for the free training day. We're doing October 22nd out there. Josh and I were talking about it yesterday, and he just kind of offhandedly mentioned, he's like, you've built a pretty solid community. And I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of all of you being part of what we do. I'm proud of what we've built, and I'm carrying that weight and willing to continue doing so because it matters. I'm not going to stop. Dennis says, my favorite group classes to lead were our Saturday stations for my adult students. We would have 12 3-minute rounds, moving from station to station, dumbbells, kettlebells, medicine balls, shadow fighting, heavy bag work, core, partner drills, etc. It was always the highlight of our week. What I like about that is it's go, 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 but there's variety. And there are so many ways you can take that format and expand on that, right? You could have, so let's take that and let's expand it out to, here's what you can do. Here's an easy way. Take 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 things that people could do for a few minutes. Shadow sparring, jumping jacks, jump rope, whatever. Write as many of them out as you can and shuffle them. And however many stations you have, put it down. Divide the group up evenly among the stations. Boom. It's different every time. People like an element of variety, of randomness, of chance in their training. There's something that resonates for most of us with that because life is random. We don't have full control. Jenny says, Dennis, you will get along great with my oldest. His favorite drills are anything conditioning. If you can't breathe, you can't fight. Brought to you by the Whistlekick Fuel Program. I got a bunch of email I got to do today. I was all caught up. What was it, Monday? Some of it built up. That's right. It's all good. So if anybody else has any drills they want to throw out for others to consider, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to start closing up the show. Remember, if you want to support, we've got a Patreon that many of you were part of. And those of you who are not, it takes $2 to get in and start to know what we're doing. You will probably want to go up from there, but that's okay. At $2, you get to know who's coming on the show. You get to hear about a bunch of behind the scenes things. Sometimes they put in discounts. And we've got the Patreon exclusive hangout, which is, I think it's next week. It's in there. I don't remember. It's on my calendar. You can also use the code First Cup 15. Save 15% on a hoodie or a mug or any stuff like that. And if you want the whole list, if you are in fact family, you don't have to spend a nickel. whistlekick.com/family. You got to type it in. I have not updated that this week. That should have. Actually, that's not true. I updated it yesterday. I wrote something rather topical and poignant. If you want a small glimpse inside my brain, that's where you go for that. We do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Last I knew, we were still stuck at 49 Twitch subscribers. We need to get to 50. That's our first step. Well, that's we have 2 steps left. That's one of them. And the next one is getting a bunch of Twitch people to watch all at once, which I've got some plans on that. So, all righty. I hope you have a fantastic day. Come on. Switch to comments. There we go. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for joining me. Have a good Thursday. Go check out that episode of Martial Arts Radio, Training While Severely Injured. Tell me what you think. And I'll see you tomorrow for Friday. Get some jokes ready. We got to go out with a bang. I don't want to let Frank down. Take care, everyone. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.